icy wind whispered through the towering pines as night descended over the forgotten village of Stillwater. Nestled deep within a forest that locals avoided even during the brightest days, Stillwater perched on the edge of a fog-draped lake, its waters unmoving and obsidian black. The village itself appeared frozen in time, its old cobblestone paths and ivy-covered cottages reminiscent of another era. Stories of ghosts and otherworldly happenings were told in hushed voices, scarecrow warnings to children who might wander too far from home. Claire Jennings tightened her scarf against her neck, her breath puffing in little white clouds as she glanced at the hand-drawn map grasped in her gloved hand. Faded ink on the brittle parchment seemed a poor guide, but it was all she had. The map had been her grandfather's, passed down through the generations. It claimed to lead to Stillwater's fabled treasure, a legendary relic said to be hidden somewhere within the desolate village. Most dismissed it as a myth, but Claire was captivated by the mystery. She had arrived only as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting elongated shadows that crawled across the stone pathways. The village seemed deserted, yet Claire could feel the weight of unseen eyes upon her. Every creak of branches, every rustle of leaves was magnified in the unsettling silence. She made her way to the heart of the village, where stood an ancient well, its stones slick with moss and age. The map indicated this as a starting point, but in which direction it would lead her, Claire had no idea. A sudden caw of a crow pierced the quiet, and Claire jumped, clutching the map tighter. She laughed nervously at herself, the sound echoing through the empty square. Yet she felt disoriented, as if the village itself watched her with sly amusement. Just then, she glimpsed a flicker of movement in the corner of her eye. When she turned, Claire could make out a figure standing at the edge of the lake, scarcely visible through the thickening mist. Hesitating only a moment, she stuffed the map into her jacket and approached the figure. As she drew near, the figure resolved into a woman wearing a long, tattered cloak that flapped in the breeze. Her hair was stark white, cascading down like a waterfall against her wrinkled skin. The woman's eyes, a striking shade of icy blue, met Claire's with an unsettling intensity. "You're seeking something, aren't you, dear?" The woman's voice was raspy, a half-whisper that slithered into Claire's ears as if bypassing the air between them. Yes, I suppose I am," Claire replied, trying to keep her voice steady. The woman's presence felt like an intrusion into something not meant for human understanding. "The treasure of Stillwater," the old woman continued, with a knowing smile that failed to reach her eyes. "A dangerous pursuit, that. Many have sought it, but none have returned." An involuntary shiver ran down Claire's spine. Have you seen it?" The woman's gaze did not waver. "No one sees it, child, unless it wills to be seen. The spirits of this place are old and restless." Claire frowned. "Spirits?" The woman stepped closer, the lines on her face deepening in the dimness. "You must listen and heed their whispers, or they will lead you astray. Many have met their end in the drowning embrace of the lake, or lost themselves amidst the shadows of the trees." A sudden gust swept across the village square, rippling the dark surface of the water, and Claire anxiously glanced toward the lake. When she turned back, the woman had vanished, as though she had melted away with the mist. Unease threaded through her thoughts, but Claire's resolve hardened. She would not be swayed by apparitions and cryptic warnings. She had come seeking something tangible, and she would find it. Returning to the well at the center of the village, Claire noticed for the first time the strange carvings etched on the stones. They resembled sigils or perhaps runes, their meanings as obscured as the truths of Stillwater itself. As she contemplated them, one particular symbol seemed to pulse, drawing her attention irresistibly. Before she knew what she was doing, her fingers traced the symbol, a jagged spiral that ended in a sharp point. It resonated under her touch, and Claire felt a vibration hum through her bones, a resonance that whispered of deeply buried secrets. Behind her, the deserted street filled with a roiling fog, thicker and more pervasive than before. It rolled toward her in waves, and she stumbled backward, her intuition screaming that something was terribly wrong. There was more than mere mist rising from the lake and woods. There was something alive within, a presence twisting its way through the vapor. From the twisting fog, Claire heard a low murmur, like the droning of a faraway song. The voices were indistinct, yet the fear they inspired was sharp and immediate. She turned and fled, the only thought in her mind to escape whatever hunted her within the haze. Her flight was blinded by fear and shrouded in mist, her footfalls uneven on the slick cobblestones. Every street bled into another, each twist and turn of the path spawning yet more shadows. Everywhere she looked, she saw glimpses of figures watching, faces emotionless as they faded away when she drew near. Claire plummeted into an alleyway, desperately seeking an escape, and found herself in front of an imposing structure, a crumbling church, its steeple piercing the night sky like a dagger. The massive wooden doors loomed in front of her, ajar just enough to beckon an invitation or serve as a trap. She hesitated only briefly before pressing inside, the door groaning as it swung open to admit her. The interior was no sanctuary from her terror. Stained glass windows cast unsettling patches of colored light, creating a kaleidoscope of ghostly figures on the stone floor. Pews stood in regimented lines, shrouded in dust, as if expecting an unending congregation. At the far end, an altar stood draped in heavy shadows. Claire's breath came in ragged gasps. Somewhere, far beneath the chapel's cold stones, she could sense the hidden promise of treasure. Her heart pounded against her ribs in determination. The creaking of the door sent her heart racing anew. With urgent footsteps, she made her way toward the altar, her mind racing for answers. She sensed more than heard footsteps following, a presence that teased at the edge of her awareness. No sooner had she reached the altar than the dimness shifted, bringing into focus the intricate designs carved there. The same sigils as on the well, a language without words, yet speaking of power and mystery. With trembling hands, she touched the altar's surface, her fingertips memorizing the cold grooves. The ground beneath her vibrated, and Claire staggered backward. The church trembled, as though stirred by the weight of some slumbering entity awoken from its ancient rest. There was a subtle change in the air, the acrid tinge of ozone mixed with the must of decay. From the depths of the altar rose a voice, born neither of human nor animal, yet resonating with the authority of old, forgotten things. The one who seeks must pay the price. The past is bound to the present, then to tomorrow's fate. The windows rattled within their frames, and Claire realized that the voices from the fog had followed her here, amplified by the church's acoustics to a symphony of harsh whispers. They coalesced into a single lament, drawing out her deepest fears and challenging her sanity. Desperation clawed at Claire's mind. "What is the price?" she cried into the darkness. Her voice echoing back, distorted, felt alien to her ears. The shadows seemed to recede just enough for the ghostly outline of the old woman, emblematic of the past woven into the fabric of Stillwater's curse, to step into view. Her eyes shone in the semi-darkness, holding Claire's gaze. "The price is way that you hold dear," said the spectral figure, reaching toward Claire with a translucent hand, "that which brought you here." Claire's resolve faltered at the implication. Not material treasure, but an internal reckoning. She had sought Stillwater, driven by her family's legacy, a relentless search for meaning where there might be none. Fear's icy hands tightened their grip on her heart. Before she could question further, the world condensed further inwards, drawn toward a point on the altar where a single object materialized. A small, intricately crafted box. Claire hesitated, but knew there was no other choice. She stepped forward, the allure of the unknown overpowering her grasp on reason. Upon touching the box, a chill swept through her, a conduit releasing memories not her own. She saw images flash like dreams within dreams, a time when Stillwater was alive with joy and sorrow, celebration and despair. A cycle of life echoed back in ghostly reverberation, the stories of her ancestors intertwined with the village's heartbeat that still resonated through the ages. Claire understood. Stillwater's treasure was its history. Tales of those who lived, loved, and perished on its lands. Tales that only she could now tell. Her vision blurred, the shadowed recesses of the church closing in until she was once more at its threshold, the fog now receding to reveal the village transfigured by morning light. Stillwater remained, a sentinel of the past watched over by its lake guardian, waiting for its tale to be discovered anew. As the fog of the ethereal voices dissolved with the dawn, Claire stood quietly at the village's edge. She held the box close, knowing it would open the door to stories untold, a trust bound to her bloodline, as much a gift as a burden. Stillwater, with its tales locked in time, had granted her something more enduring than gold or jewels. It had given her a voice, a calling to weave together the spectral fragments into a tapestry of history, of life overlooked by those who saw only its shadows. The village, now backlit by the rising sun, retreated into its quiet slumber, while Claire walked away, the box cradled in her arms. She left the path etched in frost, a figure slowly vanishing into the forest beyond, knowing that, for now, she was carrying the ghost stories of Stillwater into the world.